I mean, I realized while I was doing it with him that one, I thought that if I continued to do it, like it would have ruined my friendship. It also was kind of ruining my relationship. And at the same time, I was like, I don't want to give up like doing my own thing too. And I was with him every single day. So I like kind of told him, I was like, hey, like I think I'm just gonna like do my own thing.
Welcome to the podcast, episode 11 of Livin Large, where you can catch it every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. PST on the app CastBox. If you guys are watching on my YouTube right now, you can see the mug.
Oh my God.
And you hear me slurping on my latte. Check it out on my YouTube in video form. Today's guest, the very tall model, 4'11" Ayla Woodruff.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How you been? I haven't spoken to you in a long ass time because you've been traveling the world.
I know. I have been. I had to get out of LA. I had to like experience something else besides, you know.
Tell the people where you've been. You went to Bali.
I went to Bali. I've been to the Maldives or Maldives, however you want to say it. I went to Greece, like all around Greece, like Athens, Mykonos, Santorini. I went to the Dominican Republic.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The list goes on.
I'm going to Jamaica in a week.
Wow. I noticed these are all tropical places. Why do you choose tropical places over like snowboarding or something?
Oh no, are you kidding? I'm like actually so down to like go snowboarding and skiing. Like obviously the weather hasn't been like that yet, but it's just brands, you know, like brands want you to be kind of in like the tropical area, you know, for like clothing and stuff like that. So I feel like that's kind of where we've been headed. But this like winter, I'm super stoked to finally start going.
To go shred the gnar?
Yeah, you gonna shred the gnar too?
The fresh pow pow?
Should we get like a huge house and all shred the gnar together?
Fuck yeah!
Fuck yeah! Oh, you cuss on this thing?
You can do whatever you want. Just keep it to a minimum because some of them are getting demonetized.
Oh God!
I don't know why.
This is gonna be a good podcast.
So let's talk about it. You want to get out of LA because what? You're born and raised here.
Well, I mean, I was born in Burbank, but like I moved around a lot when I was a kid. So,
did you always live in California?
No.
Oh,
I lived
really?
in like Arizona for 6 years. I lived in Florida
this is new
for 5
information
years.
For me.
I know.
So born in Burbank, LA.
Yeah.
Moved to Arizona.
Moved to Florida first.
Then Arizona. And then you went back to California.
And then I went to San Diego. Yeah, I was living in Carlsbad. And then this is really random, but like my brother started doing acting and he booked this movie in Canada. And we were getting rid of our house in Carlsbad, San Diego anyway. So we just all moved to Canada for 6 months.
Random.
So random. And then we decided to move back to LA. And that's when I kind of moved here like mid 7th grade, 8th grade. And then I stayed here all throughout high school.
Right. So you graduated from Agora.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is, but if you guys are listening, it's in LA.
Agora Hills, guys.
Agora Hills.
It's really cute.
Did you go to college?
I did. I went to UCSD.
University of California, San Diego.
Yeah, look at you. Good job.
Did you graduate?
I did. Bachelor's degree.
Wow.
Yeah.
High five.
Thanks. And
2 graduates.
Also, after that, I went to LMU, Loyola Marymount University, and like got my HR certification.
Okay, so what'd you major in?
It's a long word, but it's industrial and organizational psychology.
And you're doing nothing like that.
I mean, I'm trying to like, it's like psychology and business. So I feel like you could use it for anything. I could use it for social media. Like,
I guess, get inside the minds of people.
Yeah, right?
Get
Show them what they want.
Yeah, get inside the mind of Shane Dawson.
Yeah, oh
the sociopath.
Oh my God. I honestly just started not keeping up, but like I literally just found out about him, obviously because of the whole Jake and Logan thing, but that's kind of crazy. I actually haven't watched one of his videos, and I finally watched one of his videos when he was talking about Jake, and I was like, oh.
He's really good.
He's pretty good.
He's a beast editor.
I was surprised though, because at first I was like, is he faking this? Like the whole sadness, crying thing, and then everyone's like, no, that's him. He brings it out in you, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
It's very intense. The dramatic music and stuff.
I know, right?
Whoa, you just blew up my ears. All right. So yeah, let's get into this. So after college, what was your plan? You moved to LA, you moved to San Diego, you're on your own, you live at home?
I lived in San Diego for like a year, and then I decided to leave and come back to LA, and I was like, you know what? I don't know what I want to do yet, but I started I know I wanted to do like HR, and I started taking some internships and found out that I actually hated it.
Really?
Like, I could not sit in an office all day. I was like way too like, oh, I got to do something, you know? And so I just kind of like, I've always been involved in like the restaurant industry. So I just got a job at Nobu Malibu.
Okay.
And I worked there for about a year. in like a year
Oh,
and
I
a
thought
half.
you just got a job like right now.
No,
I was so
no,
confused.
No. No. And I started.
So you worked at Nobu Malibu.
Yeah.
But, and is this the time? So I met you because George took you to a very nice dinner.
He did.
We won't call it a date.
But you just did.
But it was a date for George.
It was a date for George.
Because you guys met at Jake's house. How did you meet Jake? Why were you over at Jake's house?
It's so random. I'll like try to sum it up real quick. But like so working at Nobu Malibu, I had this friend and he was like, hey, like meet me for lunch. I'm like with this one of my other friends, blah, blah, blah. So I meet him at lunch and his friend is this YouTuber, like this guy, Matt Crawford.
Okay.
And he was like, I love your personality. Like you have like such like a great, like you can connect easily with people. And I was like, thanks. And he's like, you should be on my YouTube.
That's actually the first time anyone's ever said that to me.
I'm like, oh my God, stop. But keep going. And he's like, you should be on my YouTube. I'm like, yeah, I don't really know what YouTube is, but like, I mean, I knew what it was, but I didn't know you could like have a career in it. And I'm like, okay, I'm down. So we did like maybe like 2 episodes on his thing. And then one night he texted me, he's like, yo, you got to come with me to this party. It's like really good for you to like meet these people. I'm like, I don't know. Like maybe I'll see when I'm done with work. I get off work. I'm like, I'll just stop by. Like, honestly, if I didn't stop by, like my life would not be where it is right now.
Nuts. Because you said yes.
Yeah, seriously.
And that's something I always like preach on my podcast is like a lot of opportunities come from saying yes. And like a lot of people just want to stay at home and be like, oh no, like this is what works for me. But like going out and meeting new people and doing new things, like saying yes basically is what can get you to where you are.
It's like stepping out of your comfort zone. And that's all I do now is like I used to not even like traveling. I used to be such a homebody.
Right.
Now I take any opportunity that comes my way because I swear like living in like fear or scared of like not feeling comfortable or in your element it just holds you back so much.
I honestly like being uncomfortable, but I do. Traveling gives me severe anxiety just in the sense of because I hate living out of a suitcase. Like that's the one thing I hate. I like to know where my shit is, and every time I go traveling, for some reason, I'll come back and I'll like have forgotten some shit. Yeah, and it frustrates me.
I mean, it's not for everyone. If it was for everyone, like we'd all be traveling. Yeah.
So you went to Jake's. You met Jake. Well, you met George. Then I remember George bringing you over to our old apartment, 850, back in the day. And I kind of blew his date for him. I remember he brought you back, and he was like, oh, this is Ayla, guys. And we're like, oh, yo, what's up? And I was like, wait, is she the Christian one?
Oh, did you do that on purpose?
No, I didn't do this on purpose.
That was so funny.
Because George, you know, if you guys know George, you guys have seen him on my podcast. He has a habit of talking to a lot of women. So like I lose track at times. So
I know.
He brought her back, and I kind of just made her seem like another girl, and I'm sorry for that. Three years later. I thought it was.
Remember, I got there, and you guys, I think you were in your room, and Logan was in his room. And you guys, we started just all joking, and you guys were like, "Oh, damn!" Like, okay, like it wasn't even bad. I started laughing at that because I thought it was so funny.
But George afterwards was like, "Damn it, Mark, you fucking blew it."
I know, he's so funny.
But it was all fun and games. So after that, you moved to 1600 Vine, right?
Yeah, it was honestly like I've never had like George was so funny about that night because. I mean, that was like the first night that I'd gone out to a dinner with him, and he's like, "Do you want to meet my friends?" And I thought he meant like,
which by the way, he never does that. He would never do that.
Yeah, it was so interesting to me. He was like, "Do you want to meet my friends?" And I was like, "Sure," but I thought he meant like, "We're gonna go to like a house party and just meet your friends."
Right.
We show up to this building, 1600.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you guys, if you're not familiar, 1600 Vine was like where all the Viners lived, all the social media influencers lived in this one building on Vine Street in Hollywood, and that's how they all exploded. Yeah. So yeah, that's where I lived.
Used to be cool. I mean, come on.
Yeah, come on.
And we literally get there, and he just starts like going people's doors and like walking in. I'm like, is this what you do here?
It was literally like a dorm room. Yeah.
Yeah, and I literally met you, I met Logan, I met Amanda, Christian, Johannes,
Rudy.
Like I met literally, what did I meet? Like, God.
Probably Marcus Johns, like everyone lived there. Yeah.
Everyone. And he walked into everyone's room, and I was like, oh, and then we went to Alyssa and Jordan's old place.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and they were having game night with like Curtis and Rachel and like Helen and Zach and just so many people. And I literally met everyone that night.
So you got to thank George Jenko because a lot of your close friends now
100%.
are Alyssa and Rachel.
Yeah, Alyssa, Rachel, Helen. I'm going on this weekend with her somewhere. Like, I mean, seriously, just
That's
meeting.
nuts.
Yeah.
So George brought you into the social media circle in a way.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, after Jake's, but then you said yes to going on a date with George.
If I didn't say yes, wow.
If you didn't say yes, where would
hey,
you
girls
be now?
out there, you should just say yes.
Say
Say
yes to George.
Say yes to George. You're welcome, George. I'm helping you out.
But after that, so you didn't really get into social media, and then I remember, so I met this kid. He commented on my YouTube videos. He's like, "Hey, dude, I live in LA. I'm 7 feet tall. Like, want to make a YouTube video together?" And I had no idea for that day. And I was like, "Yeah, dude, come over." And he came over, and I was like, "Yo, this would be really funny if I did like a set up a blind date with Ayla." And this was all super last minute, and it's my most viral video I've ever made on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's called 7 foot tall guy meets 4 foot tall girl, which she's actually 4'11", 4'10", 4'11".
4'11".
Very short.
Sometimes I have 5 feet on my license, so sometimes.
So the video was basically I set up this like fake blind date between him and you, and just the thumbnail was great because he's double your size, and it went extremely viral. Then after that, you gained a lot of followers, and so did I. That was kind of like, that took my career to the next level.
That was
dope. And it kind of started off you, because you were being in skits and stuff.
I was doing, so I started doing some skits with George, and then like a couple of the guys or people were just like, "Hey, like, can you do this quick little thing in my skit?" So, and then that's why I was like, I was just going to 1600 too much.
Right.
So I was just like, I'll just move there.
Right.
So then I moved there, and then you were like, "Yeah, let's do this video." And at first I was kind of hesitant because like I had a boyfriend. Like I was living with him at 1600, and you're like, "Can you pretend to be this other guy's girlfriend?" And I'm like, "Dude, is this like the life? Is this what I have to do?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess I'll do it."
But it was completely sarcastic and satirical, and I don't know why everyone was like commenting and thinking you guys were actually dating.
That was, you know what's crazy is I went to work that night, or no, not that night, like what, three nights later, and that was the first time ever someone came up to me and they're like, "Oh my God, you're from that video." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "You're from that video, like you have the boyfriend who's really tall." And I'm like, "Shh." I'm like, "Oh my God." I'm like, "This is real." Like I was like, "Oh God, it's happening." And I was like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Where is he?" I was like, "Oh, we're not really dating. It was more of just like a video." And they're like, "Oh man, like that was the cutest thing ever." And then a lot of people started asking me about that. Like they'd recognize me from that video. And I was like, okay, it's starting.
Which is so funny because I thought it was so evident in the video that we were just having fun. Like making a joke of it.
Yeah.
But
it was like so funny though. I mean, like I think our second video that we did together, we made it way more evident that it was kind of just like a joke.
Like, well, I had you guys play parents, right?
Yeah.
I had you like raise twin babies, which also that video killed it too. We should do another one. We did another reunion. We should think of something else. That
would be
But
funny.
yeah, so you started that. You got up to like 50,000 followers or whatever, and started doing the whole social media thing, and then along came Logan.
Yeah.
So how did that opportunity happen? Because you were doing bottle service at Beauty and Essex?
Yeah. So I opened up Beauty and Essex and like kind of like ran their like bottle service or like, you know, still waitressing and stuff that. And I knew I wanted to do like YouTube because like obviously being in the building, you know, you get used to this stuff. You're like, okay,
it's
like I want to do it too. Yeah.
Everybody around you. The cool thing about the building, guys, is because everyone around you has the same goal. Everyone around you was creating content. So it's just like, oh, like why not be friends and have fun and do this? So it's like, it's inspiring. It's like obviously why a lot of people listen to the podcast because they want to hear this kind of stuff. It's like surround yourself with people that are like-minded.
Yeah, 100%. And I was like, you know what? So I started doing some YouTube, some of my own skits, and it was actually doing really good. I think I'm not even kidding. I think I almost got it to like 100K. And Logan and I started just hanging out too. It was like every time he was doing a video, he's like, "Yeah, just come be in my vlog.
Right.
And then one time he messaged me and he was like, "Hey, I want you to like represent my women's merch." And I'm like, "All right, dope. Like I'll do it." And so I came over and he was like, "All right, I'm going to release it tomorrow. Like I want to make a super quick video of you like on my balcony, just kind of walking through all of it." I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I did that. And after that one, a lot of people were like, "Oh, who's Ayla? Like who's this girl?" Because he posted it like on his YouTube and on his Instagram and like his Facebook. And everyone was just like, "Oh shit, like who's this girl?" And we started kind of like hanging out more and more. And he was, I remember one time. Okay, so remember when he had the ball pit in his bus?
Yes, I never saw this, but I saw the video. I never went to it though.
Okay, so he was like, "Yo, come do this bus thing with me." I'm like, "Okay." And he kept having like a new girl over every day, and I'm like, "What's up with these girls? Like, why do you have girls over all the time?" He's like, "Oh, dude, I'm trying to find an assistant. Like, it's killing me right now." And I'm like, "Why?" And he's like, "Because either A, they're good on camera, but they suck at assisting, or they're awesome at assisting, but they're awkward as fuck on camera." I'm like, "Oh, damn." I'm like, "That sucks." And then I remember going home and being like, yo, we should make a vlog about me like trying out to be your assistant. He's like, dude, would you like actually consider doing that? And I'm like, well, I don't know. I feel like that kind of ruined our friendship. He's like, yeah, I mean, like you'd have to stop doing like your own YouTube and like your own photo shoots and all that. I'm like, that actually could be kind of dope though. Like it could be like Rob Dyrdek and like what's
drama?
Not drama, but what's the other girl?
Big?
No.
You know, is it? I know who you're talking about.
It's not like Chantel. Is it Chantel?
Chanel West Coast.
Chanel. Yeah. I was like, oh, it could be like a Rob Dyrdek and Chanel. And he's like, yo, I'm actually down. Like this could be sick as fuck. Like we should do it. And I was like, you know what? That actually could be cool. Like this is what I want to do, social media, and it would get me out of being in the nightlife industry.
Right.
So we did it, and it was insane. People like grabbed onto us so
it's nuts.
hard.
Next level vlog audience is like no joke.
Like I mean, people were just, the shipping came along and like everyone was, and he didn't even. I mean, like obviously I was in his vlogs, but he wasn't like tagging me, like saying Ayla Woodruff, nothing. You just had to like find me, but people found me and were just like on it. I remember I grew to like almost 1 million in 2-3 months. It was insane
growth.
Yeah.
What was it like being his actual assistant, real life work though?
Because
I was his roommate.
I feel like it was like, yeah, I know. I remember we talked about that because you like lived in his closet at one point.
I did. I slept in his closet on an air mattress underneath his clothes. Yeah. I've been there.
I mean, honestly, like being I think it was more like kind of really hard for me because one, he wanted me to be in the vlog all day. So I was with him every single day.
Right.
And I was on camera. But then at the same time, he's like, I also need you to get stuff done.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to like balance all of that. And then, like I was just going through some other personal issues like at home and things like that. So it was getting a lot like stuck in my head. And it's weird when you're friends with someone and then you start working for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's like, oh man, like sometimes like the way we talk to each other, it's kind of like, oh shit, like this is work. This isn't like being friends, which, I mean, I expected that to happen, but it also felt kind of weird at times because I was like, oh man, like I don't feel like we're really being friends right now.
Right.
No,
100%. That was kind of the relationship we had too. Like we were friends first, then I started to work for him. And then it's just like, you have to be able to separate your friend life and your work life and like be able to treat the two differently. And it's tough. Yeah. It's like, cause he could be like, yo, clean this up or answer these emails. And you're like, and then afterwards, he's like, oh, want to watch a movie? Like,
yeah. So
it's like,
yeah. And he's like, so just like that.
So good at it. Yeah.
Like, I mean, honestly, I feel like sometimes like he would even yell at me and then he'd be like, yo, you hungry? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, are you okay?
Yeah.
But, or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, you know what? It was so good at the time. And I mean, I realized while I was doing it with him that one, I thought that if I continued to do it, like it would have ruined my friendship. It also was kind of ruining my relationship. And at the same time, I was like, I don't want to give up like doing my own thing too. And I was with him every single day. So I like kind of told him, I was like, hey, like I think I'm just going to like do my own thing. Kind of like start my own YouTube back up again and whatever. And he was like, all right, let's chill.
Yeah, because it's really hard to maintain your own and focus on yourself when you have to work for someone else.
Yeah.
But you have to work for someone else when you're first getting into social media, regardless.
Yeah.
Like when I first got into social media, I worked for Logan. I worked for Ariana Grande. I did all of these side gig jobs.
Did you work for Usher too?
No, that was Jordan.
Oh, that was Jordan. Okay.
Yeah, I did a bunch of things, a bunch of like freelance stuff just to make money so I could progress my career. But it's hard, especially when you're being his assistant, which is your job.
Yeah.
2, you're on the vlogs, which is like a second job. And then to be able to go home and maybe do your own videos or your own photos, it's just like at the end of that day, you're exhausted because you're doing his job with him and then you're trying to do your job on the side. Yeah. So it's really hard. So at some point, which you did, you made the step to say, hey, look, I want to do my own thing.
And it's so funny.
Was that a hard decision?
Yeah, I mean, it was because like at first, well, yes and no. Like one, I kind of knew it. I was like, if I keep staying here, it's I don't know if it's going to work out in the best for both of us or for my life, whatever it is. But I don't know. Like I knew deep down it was like it was getting a little bit more stressful than it needed to be. And I was like, I know that like I have to like step back right now and kind of like figure out my life. Otherwise, if I keep doing this, I'm going to get really sucked into it. And then it's going to be hard for me to get out.
Yo, guys, I interrupt this podcast to let you know that this episode is brought to you by Care Of. Care Of is a monthly subscription vitamin service that brings completely personalized vitamins and supplement packs right to your front door. You just got to take an online quiz online. It'll ask you questions about your diet, health goals, lifestyle choices, and it only takes 5 minutes to find out what vitamins and supplements you specifically need. 90% of people fall short of the FDA recommended guidelines for at least one vitamin or nutrient in their daily diet. The cool thing about Care Of is they get delivered right to your front door. I actually got my package in the mail the other day. It's convenient because I can just go online, order the vitamins. I don't have to go to the store and read all the stuff. It's all right there for you guys to know, and it comes right to your front door. Who doesn't like stuff coming right to your front door? They have vegan and vegetarian supplement options available to match your dietary needs. If you guys are vegans, vegetarians, whatever it may be, guys, I'm giving you guys 25% off your first month of personalized Care Of vitamins. Just visit takecareof.com and enter the promo code LARGE. That's takecareof.com, promo code LARGE for 25% off your first month of personalized Care Of vitamins. Let's get it. Right.
So, yeah, I mean,
I think
don't
one of
know.
the hardest moments in my life was quitting working for Logan.
Really?
I'm just like, I don't like confrontation.
Me neither. I hate it.
And I was just so nervous because I knew, like, it was bottled up in me. Like, I knew I wanted to quit and pursue my own thing. And I just was so nervous to do it. I kept pushing it off, and finally one day I was like, fuck, man, I got to do it. I took like 2 shots of tequila to calm myself down, and I sat, and it wasn't even a big deal. And Logan like knew it was coming. I'm like, yo, Logan, look,
he knew it was coming for me too.
Yeah, he knows it's coming.
He literally knew it. He's like, I could tell.
And I was like, I was so nervous. He's like, yeah, man, that's cool. I'm like, wait, what? He's like, yeah, I mean, I figured like eventually you're going to quit. Like it happens, you got to move on with your life. And I was like, oh. He made it so easy for me. And I was like the whole time freaking out. Like, is he going to get pissed at me? Is he never going to talk to me again? Is this going to ruin my life? Like, it wasn't like that at all. And you guys are still friends?
Yeah, no, we're friends. Like, I mean, we like had a moment where we weren't friends.
Right. Which, it's understandable because you quit working for him.
Yeah, I mean, I quit working for him, but I think, and then there were just like other things that kind of got in the middle. You know what I'm saying? But like, I love him. Like, he's such a good person. Like, and he's been like such like an iconic growth in my life, and I like appreciate his friendship. And so like, I'm really happy that we're friends again. It's like really nice to like kind of be back to like, because we're all friends, and we all kind of like drifted away. And I feel like that was like the saddest part, is we all kind of like got maybe so involved in what we were doing, and everyone was kind of like getting, either, I don't want to say like, we weren't like getting in fights or anything, but like everyone was kind of just like, oh, well, screw this, I'm doing this. And then it wasn't like a collaboration anymore. Right. But now I feel like we're all kind of like.
Yeah, it's interesting because at one point everyone was collaborating, everyone was working together, and then everybody started to split off and kind of do their own things. Yeah. Everyone moved out of 1600 Vine. They either got an apartment, they got a house. Yeah. Me included, you included, George included. We stuck together though. Fucking love you, George. Oh, but yeah, it kind of, that whole team friendship kind of fell apart. And I think, I don't know, those were like 2 years of important growth, I guess, for each person individually. And I think now it's cool because we don't necessarily all create videos together anymore. We more so hang out as like friends. And then like, it's like normal. It's like, oh, you go to work today and do your thing. I go to work. And then like, oh, let's hang out. Yeah. It's like, I do miss though creating videos with everyone. I think that was like, that was the fun part. But I think it's cool too that it's like separate lives. Yeah, I think we all kind of had to figure out our own thing too. I mean, I didn't even know when I finished with Logan. I mean, he wanted me to sign with him, and I didn't want to. I was like, I mean, I wanted to, but I didn't want to because I didn't want to be like stuck in like a Team 10 type thing. I was like, I don't know. Like, which I mean, Team 10 is obviously, it's a great in theory, but obviously certain things happen. People drift apart. Right. And I mean, like, I was kind of, I'm a little bit older than everyone too. So I was kind of just like, I don't know. Like, that's like a lot of my life away. And I feel like since I grew so fast, I didn't even have a chance to figure out like, what do I want? Like, what do I want to pursue? Like, it happens really quick. Yeah. Like, here's how I describe social media. It's like, it's a long process of doing a lot of shit for nothing, essentially for nothing. Right. And then one day something big will happen and transform it. And then it's just sprung on you so fast and you just don't really know how to handle it. Yeah. Like, for example, that video we made together that went viral, I had like 100,000 subscribers or like 150,000 total subscribers. I posted that video and I literally was at 500,000 in 3 days.
Dude, it's insane.
And I was like, I don't know what to do right now. I have to keep up with this. Now it's like a mission.
That's exactly when I quit with Logan, because I already had a YouTube before I was with Logan, and I think I posted like 3-4 videos. And then when I quit with Logan, I had literally like 480,000 subscribers. And I was like, what am I going to do with you guys?
Yeah,
I don't even know what to post right now. So I just started posting stuff, and it was doing good. And I think I'm still at I think I'm like 800 something thousand, but I don't really do anything with it because I was kind of like, well, we all kind of moved out. I don't know what I want to do. And I kind of was like, I want to travel. Maybe I want to get into makeup. Maybe I want to get into clothing. I don't know. So I was like trying to figure it out. And the thing that sucks about that too is when you're trying to figure out what you want, sometimes you like lose people. So I was like at my peak. And then all of a sudden I was like, well, now I have to figure out my life. So then I was like, the following from Logan and everyone else was kind of weeding out.
Right.
So I had to lose followers and then gain them back up.
Right.
And that was like hard too.
So yeah, so let's talk about this. Where are you at right now? What is it that you want to focus on? Because I know you've been traveling a lot.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? Do you know?
Traveling is kind of like, I mean, it's work. Like that's obviously a job for me to go out and do these things. And traveling for me kind of was like a little bit more of a way to open up like my perception of like life and like this world and make new connections with people and like understand different cultures. And I felt like I got so caught up in like LA and social media that traveling for me was a way to kind of like open up my heart a little more, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely.
And I know that it's not something that I'm going to be able to do forever. But I think like I always say this, like I truly believe that my end goal is going to be acting. Like I kind of feel like that's my role, and not acting in the sense where, you know, some like Disney thing or some like little cheesy whatever, which I don't mind obviously starting off doing, but I want really bad to play a role that like really has to like project a character out in me that's super uncomfortable and different that I have to like work hard for, if you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I really want to do something that's kind of shows a little bit different side of me that people may never have seen. So I think that that's something that I really want to do. And I just have been waiting a little bit because I know that I want to be dedicated to acting. And right now, traveling for me is super important, I think, for my like mental health. And so I think doing that is kind of just like where I'm at. But
yeah, I think it's really interesting because a lot of social media is, what would you say the biggest struggle with being in social media is? Mentally or career-wise, whatever?
I think mentally because like, you can have your highest highs and your lowest lows. Right. And it's so hard because, I mean, people literally say, oh, don't let what people say affect you, or it's your own life, or like, who cares about social media? But at the end of the day, look, that's like our job. Right. Like we make our living off of that. So how am I supposed to not stress out if like views are going down or likes are going down or I'm getting comments or people are like, you know, whatever it is they want to say? That's so stressful because it's just like a regular job for anyone else. Like, right. And I mean, like we're consistently changing. So our following has to be with us while we're changing. Right. And if they're not, then we stress. It's hard.
Yeah, I think too the biggest struggle with social media as well is you don't know how much money you're gonna make on a given day, a given month, a given year. It varies so much. You can have such a good month, and then you can go 2-3 months without making $1.
Yeah, you only like once in a great while get like these year contracts where it's like, okay, cool, like I'm set. Yeah, but that's like once in a good while, you know. Right. I've only received one of those where like I'm like, okay, cool, I know this, but that's it. Like you don't know.
And I think the thing with YouTube too is you could put so much time and energy into a video, it could get demonetized.
Yeah,
you can make. I've literally had a video get demonetized and make like $40. And I'm like, wow, I spent more money on this video than I made. And that happens a lot. Yeah. So it's like showing up for work one day and your boss being like, you know what? I'm going to pay you a third of what you made yesterday. And you're like, wait, why? I did the same fucking work.
I stayed overtime.
Yeah, I did more work. Yeah. And I'm making less. So it's like, that's the mental toughness too. Yeah. But then obviously, I mean, a lot of people make really good livings on social media, but it's gotten to the point where it's like you can't just be an Instagrammer, you can't just be a YouTuber, you have to, you know, make the merch, you have to do music, you have to do Instagram and Musically and
all of it.
You literally have to do everything, and it's just it's frustrating in a sense because, like I said, you don't know how it's going to be, and your career essentially it is in your hands, but it's in the hands of other people to like, do they like you or not? And it weighs on you.
I know, it's so hard, but like at the end of the day, I feel like if you just, that's kind of like why I always say like I think my end goal is acting. It's not even like a goal. I like honestly just, I'm manifesting it out there. I know it's gonna happen. Like that's what's gonna be my end thing. And you know, maybe I'll have like a company on the side or something. Like I've always loved doing anything in fashion, so maybe I'll do something with that. Not merch, but like fashion. A legit brand line. But
what would you say? I'm trying to word this like. On your social media, I've never seen you be like sad or negative, and like I know a lot of people say like Instagram isn't reality.
Oh, you haven't seen me be sad or negative?
No, never.
I've never been negative. I mean, not really sad, but sometimes I'll post like quotes or I'll post like sayings that a little bit deeper than normal. I think this year especially, like,
because here's what I'm trying to get to. It's like on Instagram, on social media, we portray this perfect life. We have fun. Like you only see it's a highlight reel, basically. You know, you show your best photos, you show your best angles, all the good happening in your life. But at the same time, I kind of, what I'm trying to get at is like, how is it? Because you also have personal life, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you went through a breakup, you went through quitting with Logan, you've gone through, you know, other life challenges.
Yeah.
How do you stay positive and not project that onto your social media?
Sometimes I even think about putting it on my social media just because like I know that it's easier for people to like relate to my life because they're like, oh, she's not just always positive, she's talking about real stuff. But then again, I also think of like, it's not only my business, but someone else's business. So I don't want to put someone else's business on my platform, you know, just because like it's out of respect. The way I stay positive is, this is strictly how my mind works, is you are your own solution to everything. If you get upset about something, that's on you. If you are like mad or hurt or stressed, all of that is on you. You can't sit there and wait for someone to be there to help you or pick you up off your feet. Like everything you do, that's a you problem or like a you solution. So I always tell myself, if I'm upset or mad, I'm like, yo, switch it up. Like you're not a tree. You're not stuck. Get up.
Right.
Do something. And that's when I realized, I was like, I'm going to travel. Because I realized, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes with the whole transition, because, you know, with quitting with Logan and then literally a few months later, my boyfriend and I broke up. We were living together. We had to like separate with our dogs, with our dog. And it was a lot mentally. And I was like, what am I doing with my life right now? And I was like, I could sit here and sulk or I could get up and do something.
Right.
So I got up and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start traveling. And I wasn't making money off traveling or anything, but I was like, you know what? I'll just like pick up this here and there. And then now it's become a career. But I kind of just like manifested that out. It's hard, I know, for people to believe, but nobody is going to help you and how you feel except for yourself.
That's a good, that's like, and that's something I was even watching like a Casey Neistat video on the way over here. And it's like, everything starts with yourself, and it's so important. And I think that that's a good message to send you guys. Like if you're dealing with something, it's like, you can't really sit and blame other people. I mean, in certain scenarios, I'm sure you could, but at the end of the day, it's like your happiness is your choice in a sense.
Right. And even if you like not necessarily blame someone, but even if it was someone else's fault, you take it for what it is. Like I take every person for who they are. Like I don't expect anything from someone that like for instance, my sister, just real quick, my sister, her and I get along so well, laughing wise and hanging out, but she is super cheap. And like, I will never expect to go to like Starbucks or something and have her be like, yo, I got you.
Right.
But my mom, she got upset the other day because she was like, your sister doesn't help out. She doesn't do anything. And I'm like, Mom, that's just Raina for Raina. Like you don't expect anything more. Because take her for who she is. And if something bothers you, then just step back a little bit. Like I don't hate anyone or dislike anything in my life, even people who've hurt me. Like you maybe were going through something, you know, or whatever it is.
What's your birthday?
August 25th.
So what does that make you?
I'm a Virgo, but apparently like I'm like very Leo. I went through this whole thing.
Okay, so I don't know anything about those two. Kylie does. She's really into the horoscopes. So
yeah, we were talking about it at dinner one night. Yeah, for sure.
She's obsessed with horoscopes, so she'd be able to tell you a little bit better. But that's one of my qualities, I feel like, is I don't hate anyone or get mad at anyone. It's so strange to me that when I see people get so angry to the point where they want to fight and like beat someone up and like call them names, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't even talk crap about anyone anyway. Like, you know, people will kind of vent to you about certain people or whatever. And I'm just like, yo, that's just who they are. Like, if you don't like it, then maybe step back. And if you like them, so hang out more. Like, that's all it is. You don't have to stress out over it.
I know, right?
You know?
Life's too short to stress.
It is.
Have yourself a freaking pizza.
I would know. I'm living a short life. I gotta
speaking of which, I like to talk about people's ups and downs, and you have a lot of, no, I'm just kidding.
I have a lot of downs, so I'm really sure.
No, what was it like? Because on one of the episodes I talked about like bullying with George. Did you ever like get made fun of or anything for being short?
All the time.
How did you respond to that?
I'll like heart the comment or whatever.
I'm not saying on social media. I'm saying like growing up for like high schoolers listening, for middle schoolers.
You know what's so funny is I grew up with a family that was like very like we all joked around with each other. My dad jokes with my mom all the time. Like he'll literally call me. He'll be like, "Yo, Ayla." I'm like, "What, Dad?" He's like, "Your mom's been on Craigslist now for like 3 days. I'm just trying to get rid of her and I can't." He's like, "I'm about to bring her down to $1." And my mom's in the background. She's like, "Brett, shut up back there." Like, you know. So I grew up with a family that was always joking with each other. So if anyone made fun of me, I laughed. If you had a good short joke, like I actually helped you with the joke. Yeah. People always say that because I'll be traveling and I have a friend of mine and she roasts me on Instagram. And like, I actually tell her like jokes. I'm like, "Yo, you should take a picture of this because I look really short right now." Because at the end of the day, like it's funny.
Right.
Like I'm short. It's funny.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you have a good joke, cool. If you have a short joke and I've heard it like a million times, I'm like, "Okay, cool." Yeah. But people used to like put their shirts in their, like their knees up in their shirts and walk around school and be like, "Look, I'm Ayla." And I'd just be like, "Yeah, let's go." Or I would just like push them and they'd fall. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, that's good. Yeah, it's very hard because I obviously a lot of people deal with getting made fun of, but I'm similar to you in the sense I used to get, my last name's Dohner and it rhymes with boner.
Oh,
so they'd call me Dohner Boner, but I would sit there and my brothers would be like pissed when people would do it. They're like bullying, and I just like didn't care. I don't understand like if you're being bullied, I think it goes back to like you not worrying about what other people think of you and stuff like that. I think it's important to just like not really care about other people's opinions unless they're like close to you and you value them. Like why are you going to sit here and let Timmy bully you when you're not even going to talk to Timmy in 6 years ever again in your life? You know what I'm saying? You're never going to see him again. It's like once you get out into the real world in Los Angeles, you meet like your actual true friends. I mean, I still have really close friends from high school, but like I don't talk to anyone from my high school really. I'll see them once a year. It's just like, so I don't really like, I didn't really get bullied. I didn't bully anyone. I kind of just stayed in my own lane. But yeah, that's good to know. Yeah,
but I mean, I'm also not speaking for, I mean, I obviously hope that people can kind of live the way that I lived and just laugh it off, because it's honestly, it's not a big deal. If you're happy, then no one can ruin your happiness. But my brother, he's really small. And like, I think for a girl too, like I have to say that being small, sometimes it sucks, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, you're cute." Mm-hmm. Like it's a cute thing. So it doesn't really bother me, you know? But my brother, girls would be like, "Oh, he's hot, but he's like way too short."
Right.
So he would just constantly be like, "Hate being short, hate being short," you know? And I told him, I'm like, "Blake, I'm like, look at all these like actors and people who are like so short, but they're killing it and they're still dating people." But I think it's either you let it get to you and you let it bring you down in life. I mean, you can't really control your height. That's genetics. You can't. You know? But there's other things besides height. You could have like a deformity. You could have like there's things you can't control, and you kind of just have to embrace it. You know? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Why are you so short? How tall is your mom? My mom's 4'11". Your dad's how tall? I think my dad's like 5'9". Okay, so he's normal. Average. Yeah. Is your sister short? She's short too, right? I'm the oldest and the smallest in the family. How old are you? I just turned 26. Damn! I know, shit. I'm 25. I just turned 25. When did you turn 25? Oh, I missed your birthday. Yeah, you missed my birthday. I'm sorry. A little salty about it. You said you're going to be there. I was traveling. I'm sorry. She's like, yeah, I'll be there 100%. And you're like, oh, yeah, Ayla never says no to a party. She's like, yeah. Meanwhile, she's taking back shots of tequila in Vegas without me, so. I mean, look, a girl's got to do what I got to do. What do you like to do for fun besides travel and drink tequila? Hang out. I only drink vodka. I don't drink tequila. Wow, you're one of those girls. Sorry, but if there's a tequila brand out there, I'll still take it. I'm just kidding. I like to just hang out with Moomer. Yeah, you like your dog a lot. I love Moomer. Your dog's so photogenic. He's so freaking handsome. I get compliments all the time. He's
what kind is he?
He's like a mutt. He's like a German Pinscher Feral Hound mix. Like, I don't know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I adopted him, so I don't really know.
Oh, you went to shelter?
Yeah, I used to be a foster parent.
Really?
Yeah.
Kylie is so adamant about going to shelter. She's rescued like 7 dogs.
Same.
Is that something you do?
Yeah. So Kinsey and I used to be foster parents when we lived in San Diego, and we fostered up to like 10, 12 dogs. Not at the same time, but like throughout the process. And it's really good. And then even when I left San Diego, I started working at this shelter in Simi Valley. And before I would go, this was when I was so busy. I would wake up at 5 a.m, go to the shelter, open it up, clean up like poop and pee of all the dogs in there, leave at 11:30, go to college leave at 11:30, go to college for some classes that I need to do, and then work at Islands at night. And that would be on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then the other days I would go early and then go teach preschool.
So yeah, it's really, that's a busy schedule, especially for a college kid, but you can handle it at that age.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that I wasn't really ever aware of being in Ohio. We don't really see like a lot of stray dogs in Ohio in my neck of the woods, so I didn't really understand until moving to LA when Kylie kind of opened my eyes about there's a lot of dogs that go to the pound, and there's a lot of pounds that they kill the dogs if they don't get adopted. So what Kylie would do, there was 2 pounds by her. One was a kill and one was a no kill. She would drive to the no kill one and say she found the dog in that city, because if she found it in the other city, she would have to take it to the kill pound.
Right.
But she would always, and that's so sad, and that's not something I ever really understood, and I hate to bring, and it's good to bring the attention to it. It's like, if you can adopt, I guess.
Yeah, it's I mean,
because a lot of dogs go unwanted, or they're left stray, or they'll be, they'll have babies and then they'll get rid of the mom because it's no good anymore in their eyes. It's just like, it's sad.
Well, that's kind of another thing I want to do is, especially with traveling, being in all these other foreign countries, like dogs are, I mean, there's mass amounts of them on the streets all the time, and none of them are fixed. There's like pregnant dogs all the time, and then there's puppies, and it's just like growing insane, and it's really, really sad. You just see them sleeping on the streets all the time. So especially going to the Dominican Republic and to Bali and stuff like that, I'm gonna try to like do my own thing and do something out there so I can get them fixed and stuff before.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of another thing that's on my list of things to do. Because me, I'm obsessed with dogs. Like,
yes.
Like more than people.
And coffee.
And coffee.
And lattes.
Yes.
What's some advice, real quick when we end, what's some advice you would give the up and coming person that wants to be a social media model, social media influencer?
I mean, it's so hard these days just because of how everything's going. But if you're like genuinely just happy with what you're doing, I mean, I kind of like even like have a standstill where on my growth right now. Like I literally fluctuate, but I'm so happy. Like I'm just traveling and doing everything. So good things will come. Just if you are, also stay dedicated. Like I feel like you're the perfect person to preach about this because you never stop working. Like I always say, I'm like, oh yeah, Mark is like the hardest worker ever because you just like keep it going. I've definitely taken breaks, and I know that's really
taken a couple breaks.
Yeah, but yours were like super minimal, and then you came back full force.
Yeah.
Like I've like taken a break and then not really gone back. So just keep it going. Like I feel like it's the dedication is what it is.
Yeah, I don't even really know at this point what motivates me. I just like the feeling of accomplishing something. I like creating. I like finishing a video and putting it out and seeing people's reactions. So that's like why I keep going. It's because like, I don't know, I like to make people smile, make people laugh, make people happy. If I can be a smile in your day, damn it, I'm going to be.
But that sunset though.
That you guys hear from Ayla Woodruff, episode 11 of Livin Large. Don't forget Castbox. Download the app in the App Store every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. and watch it in video form on my YouTube so you can see Ayla's 4'11" ass at the table.
Woo!
We out.
Bye.